Hello, hello. It's okay, and I'm here today drawing Nina's Nursery from Tales from the Crypt Keeper 14. This is the July 2023 comic, and pre-order will be out July 30th. We're going to be coloring today, getting ready for that pre-order. I think that's in 3 or 4 days. So the last last couple of days before the home stretch, we have a lot of work to do here today. I'm gonna try to get into shading for this video. We'll see how far we can get. Let's see here. I need to select non-contiguous. All right, so I'm going to be talking a little bit as I go to explain some of the stuff I'm doing, and also chatting on the side if you have anything that you want to chat about. And I also need to get some music up and going, because gotta stay entertained, gotta keep the troops entertained. All right. Oh, do not want to crop. Okay. So I am flat coloring, and that's what we call just kind of like basic coloring book coloring. And we do this because we need to block in all the forms. It helps expedite the process of shading all the all the colors. You can select an object or a color and then proceed to shade it very easily without shading anything in the background. When you have like the boundaries set up, you can kind of color things a lot easier and faster, and everything feels very clean. It's the comic book way. Alright, so I'm probably going to change his... This gray looks so similar to that gray. I don't think that's going to be great. Dad joke. This gray is not great. Alright, we are coloring Mr. Skittles here. And I'm going to use the fill bucket here in a second. As long as you kind of get the edges and don't leave any holes, the fill bucket fills pretty nicely and saves some time. Here we go. And this is Photoshop that I'm using. I know there are a lot of drawing programs out there, but I never took the time to explore them. Just always been using Photoshop. Okay, here we go, Mr. Skittles. Lipolski Skikle. We did a thing on the Patreon where everybody chimed in and provided ideas on what they would see from different issues of Tales from the Crypt Keeper. Let's make sure the stream is up and running, because I don't know, it kind of looks like stream service is not going. Is it? I think it is. Supposedly it is. Let's check out here. Are we live? I believe we are live. Yeah, we're live. Okay. Back to the subject at hand. So on our on the Patreon, we put up a post because Nina's Nursery is about a fan of the Crypt Keeper series. You know, the Crypt Keeper's greatest fan. And she was, she's had a huge collection of items from the Crypt Keeper series. It's kind of one of the staples of, like sitcoms and shows like that, where, you kind of have a, what is that called? Where an episode where you go into all the past episodes. That's kind of what this is borrowing from, and it gets kind of meta because of, well, you'll see. But there is a lot of references from every issue of the Tales from the Crypt Keeper series. So I put up on Patreon, like, what objects do you think someone could collect from this series if you were, a big fan of Crypt Keeper and, were collecting items from the comic series? So you'll notice a lot of objects in this nursery that have been in the series before. We have the blue bear. We have the genie's lamp. We have, what else do we have? The jump rope. We have a bottle of baby lotion. We have the doll up here. This doll is from Toy Soldier. And the next story in our issue 14 is going to involve doll transformation. We tried to get doll transformation stories into a previous issue, and I think that's when we had a big disaster, and the schedule kind of went up in the air, and we weren't able to do this. I think I've even got a promo image of something about like we might even be using the same title, Welcome to the Dollhouse. Is that the same title? I'll have to go back and look, because I remember for that issue I had made little like kind of like posters, mini posters for headline cover pages for the different stories, and the doll transformation was one of them. But anyways, in the second half of this comic, there will be a doll transformation story, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. Finally being able to get a story like that into the series. We've had stuff like that, but we've never had something to this extreme before, I guess. And so, that will be this is July, and that will be the August comic. I'm going to be doing about 8 pages of that, and the good news is I've already finished the script for it, and it is ready to get into production. I really liked how the ending of the ending of the Dollhouse story ended, so that's a good reason to be excited to draw and to get that one going. I have found that if I don't like the story, work becomes just unfun, and I can't do it if I don't believe in it, that kind of thing, where if it's like, what am I doing? I cannot trade my hours of life for money. It feels like that, where it's like I don't believe in this. So it's nice to have stories that you're excited about, and stories that you're like, oh, that'll be fun. I think people will like it. All right. You'll see that we have the penguin over here, and if you recognize that penguin, that was from a lot of people's favorite story, The Drunken Daycare. And we also have a green trick-or-treat pumpkin bag over here. And let's see what else. We have a missing shelf right here, and I'm going to fill it. I was even thinking about just copying and pasting once I finished the colors, depending on how much time I have left and how rushed I am to finish this. Sometimes that ends up happening where, you'll see little sections of a page, that look very empty, and I've done that thinking like, well, let's see if I can manage to save some time, and because I don't know if you can tell, but in this comic panel, this is pretty highly detailed. This is a highly detailed page. A lot of details in this page, and pages like this, eat up a lot of time. And it would help if I had someone coloring this page for me, but that didn't work out this month. So it's been a little bit more time consuming And when that happens, you have to look for ways to make up for lost time. So let's find, there we go. I kind of like the white, but we got to make it a slightly different color so we can adjust it. Let's go with, there, that's good. All right, now we are working, let's finish that bear. He's barely colored. I heard a joke today. So, what I got to think about what I'm not very good at telling jokes. Better at drawing them. What's the joke? What did the duck say when what did the duck say when he bought chapstick? Put it on my bill. All right. Provided enough silence after that joke to keep going. All right. Doing some backgrounds. All right. That always makes me a little seasick right there. The Titan sub has been in the news and a lot of the viral news, I guess, a lot lately, and I've been interested to watch some of it. When it was first happening, I was like, oh my gosh, are we really I couldn't believe they went down in the sub, first of all, because I don't know, like, that just seems terrifying. But I find it even crazier that people are making all these videos about how they died in there, and the way you kind of just talk about it so matter-of-factly is very odd, because I can't imagine being related to any of these people and seeing all this information out there on like YouTube and news channels and everything about what the process of their death was, where it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe the entire world is talking about this. Like, very graphic descriptions and like, oof. All right, so let's see. I kind of like white for the shelves. I imagine all these bookcases and stuff, they would be white, but we're gonna try to go with like a faded beach driftwood color. It's all sort of just blending in together to be sort of a yuck. And there we go. At least it's a little bit brighter. I'd love to come in and make it white, because I think white would look right here. I'm gonna have to research this jump rope. I don't remember what color the handles were. I don't think that's the right purple. Over here, we're gonna do something like a light blue. All right, we gotta do the Time Fighter poster from Gamer Girls. I thought that story was fun. I like games, so it's always fun to do a story about gamers. And over here we have an artifact from what was that called? The Factory. It's on the cover of the issue. What was that called? Creamy Caper. That was the story, the creamy caper. That was a fun. I'd like to do another like spy-oriented comic. Oh no! Suspended gum road. How does that happen? I can't even spell. All right, we are working now on the door. Let's switch over to the door. I hope we don't have a burnout. Chewy, get us out of here. Alright. Coloring a door. Alright. So she's in a good mood coming into her nursery. And let's see if we need to color anything else. We need to color this like a rosy pink. There we go. What else? What else? What else? Okay, we gotta work on this shelf. Working on the shelf. And some other artifacts. What is... I can't remember what poster I was putting up here. I have no idea what I was thinking. What were you thinking? Well, that color looks very wrong. Let's go with a happy color. That's not a happy color. So we're gonna brighten it up a little bit. Let's go with I think yellow would be good. Let's just brighten up the color. There we go. All right. Now we are almost done. We got to do the shelf. I think we'll do some pink and some white. And here we go. Let's get white. I think the word of the day is white. All white. What happened? All right. Now let's get a slightly blue thing going here. All right, there we go. Almost done. I was watching more Community the other day and got to the second paintball episode where what's the pop guy's name? Dang it, I can't remember his name, but I had forgotten what that. There's that part where he dives onto a paint grenade and then there's that part where he says he rolls off the paint grenade after it's gone off and he's dying from the paint, and he's like, pop. And then Donald Glover's like, what's he trying to say? Let him speak. And he never finishes, but we all know he's trying to say pop. That was just, I love that part. There's so many like good one-liner things in Community. There's a few. I think I got back into watching Community again because I found a YouTube video that had all these different different clips, like the best clips from Community, and they have so many good just like quick lines and stuff. Made me want to get into it again. Alright, we've just got a few more things now. Let's do this to this. And this to that. Let's go with like a purplish. There we go. Now we'll get back to the blue. And we'll do more of this color over here. Just finding colors. Probably you should do like a solid color. That might be a better idea right here. Okay, now we need to do the colors of the stuff that's going to be in our hair. Alright, we are almost done with this panel. The good news is that, you know, when there's this much detail in the flat coloring process, usually that means you don't have to shade a whole lot. Usually you can just kind of work with a multiply layer and kind of work around and, you know, kind of shade everything at once. You might take this and say, well, let's do the Roy G. Biv rainbow. Let's go very pastel colors like Roy orange. Oh, that's actually fairly pleasant to look at. Some days you need a rainbow. Dude, why is it so amazing when you see a rainbow out in nature? Like, I have seen a full double rainbow, and it was just like everybody in the parking lot just stopped to stare at. It was pretty amazing. All right, I think if you haven't seen one, you won't understand. All right, yellow, now green. Let's find the right green. We're gonna need to go very soft with this green. There we go. Now, we are only gonna get one more color in. We didn't get the full blue-violet spectrum in, but that's okay. I think if we just go with violet, we have blue clouds, and so the whole rainbow spectrum is represented. Ta-da! Okay, now we will probably write something over that rainbow. I wanted to do like it's meant to be like a cloth kind of, I don't know what you call that, a tapestry kind of thing, where it's like stuffed with cotton inside. That's the thing. That's what I was trying to achieve with this. I don't know if I did. I don't know if that's gonna make sense to everybody. All right, let's see. I'm just gonna do a muted pink over here, even though I think it might have been yellow. So we can just change that right now. And we'll go with a black hanger. All right, I think the panel is done. Let's do like a silver doorknob. Let's check chat too. Yeah, if you purchase books, you can always get them back for free. It's really easy on Gumroad. If you've bought a comic through Gumroad, it's always stored in your library and you can just download it again. Or if you somehow deleted it in your Gumroad library, just email me and I can send you the file again. If I have your email, I can look that up and just resend the receipt with the download link. All right, so I think this is something that always comes up when you're drawing a doorway. Like, do you draw the doorway, the hallway, do you draw it light or dark? Like, I usually like to do it either light or dark, where, you know, if the room is light, then the hallway is dark, and vice versa. If you have a dark room, make the hallway bright, just to help communicate that these are two different sections, I guess, of time and space. I need the what's that? The Twilight Zone voice. a different world of time and space in the crib. All right. Whew. There we go. Oh, I just noticed I don't have a large rug. I need to do a rug in here. I might just come in. Let's come in back in later. Let's make sure I'm not missing anything. When you have those cross-hatching lines and stuff, it's easy to miss little parts. All right. Now we're doing this part. Let's do little skikul. He's gonna look really creepy over here. He reminds me of like the Ugly Dolls, where they had that whole movie about Ugly Dolls, but they also had they were toys at Target, where they're meant to look cute, but they actually look pretty scary. And kind of like, if you collect these things, like, well, is there anything wrong with this? Is there anything wrong with you? You like horror movies, don't you? No. All right, give him his vest. And now he is a handmade Mr. Skittles doll. Wow. That's not creepy. And also, just as creepy is the voodoo doll looking thing back here. I think you'll recognize that from the story called Voodoo Dolls. I'm gonna make the skin look really kind of wrong. Alright, now we need to get the leg back there. Sorry about those noises. I kind of want to turn some music on. Let's see if we can get something. Okay, yeah. So this is well, I think I did that for a reason. Okay, I'm going to select and kind of try to get this stuff done quickly. I'm going to green screen this area because the background is TBD. I'm going to be coming back in here later with a background that's going to be important. You know, you can see a lot of background space over here, and that's because this background is going to convey a lot of information, a lot of important information. And that's all I can say about that. It'll be a wall with stuff on it. Okay, so let's get the crib. I'm just going to go ahead and do the crib all in one color, and then I'll be able to quickly highlight parts of the crib and color parts of the crib. I'll kind of select the entire crib and break it down like that. Yeah. All right, so okay. Need some white. All right, let's go dark. All right, that's all I'm going to do on that. And then I'm going to get real dark for back the bottom of the crib and the wall, I guess. And then we'll do this dresser thing. You know, I forgot that I didn't include this dresser in other parts of the comic. So let's try not to draw too much attention to it. It's too gray. We're gonna color it a little bit more than that. All right, let's fill in these empty spots. Oh man, I got really thin on some of those lines. Makes flat coloring aggravating. All right, the green right there, we're good. And these panels are flat colored. Now we're moving down to the bottom. All right, let's just go ahead and select this. Voila! Colored. Okay. Sponge. Should not do that. Should do the, yeah, paint bucket. There we go. This is really just like time-consuming work. Not very difficult. I'm sure the AI will eventually replace this part of the job. All right, let's actually, let's just select. This is too aggravating. Yeah, backgrounds is something I've always sort of dreaded. Like, it took me years before I was like, you know what? Backgrounds are actually really important to tell a story. And I need to put more effort into my backgrounds. So I don't know when it was that I decided backgrounds were important, but years ago. I just remember the point of being like, you know what, I can't just, you know, rush through backgrounds and just, you know, like throw some blocks of color on. All right, so up here we have the mouse ears. Let's get a little bit gray. What's up here? I forgot what this is. Oh, headphones. Headphones from, do you remember the headphones that she should have sprung for the noise canceling headphones? I remember that line from My Growing Addiction. That's the one. I really should be selecting and highlighting areas more than I am. This is probably the slowest way possible of doing this. Alright, let's try to do this smarter. Let's work smart, not hard. You know that saying? Let's go with like large blocks of color. Let's see. We're gonna want to use the same color from up here. Let's go a little bit darker, and basically just going to color a huge section over here, and basically gonna block in areas, and then once we have the area blocked in, we can just start splitting the block. That's a little too dark. There we go. Alright, this is the bookshelf color. Okay. I was thinking how fun it would be to actually have artifacts from the series like you see in this issue, this comic story, where you actually have some of these things, physical things that you could pick up and have available for people. I think that would just be fun. I don't know if there would be any interest, but it would be fun to see this in real life. I think that's why it's fun to draw, and the idea interested me. All right, we gotta finish this hair over here. It's a really nice day outside. I would love to be out working in the garden. Not had much time to do that lately. Well, I think I have had time. It's more of like when you have time, it is so hot outside and there's so many mosquitoes and bugs that it's like you have to cover up. And if you go outside for like 10 minutes, you come back in and you need a shower, and then 10 minutes becomes a whole hour. So, haven't gotten too much outside time in. A lot of sweating. All right, coloring the socks. Let's go ahead and fix these little mistakes. Now we can color the shoes. All right. Now we're gonna have to differentiate the whites here. Some need to look like whites that were thrown into the washer with reds, so they have a pink tinge to them. And then we'll go a little bit more pink just for the sake of it. There we go. At this part, it's pretty crucial to have very similar colors, but also very distinguishable colors. where you want to put colors down that are similar, but you definitely don't want to be using the same color for different items. All right, we're looking good. And these are the curtains back here. Let's go ahead and make it like more like nighttime back here. So darkness outside. Like she's sitting down at night. All right, so let's get the bottles up here. All right, get the shelf unit thing back there. So I definitely need some more shelves. I've always had to tried to go minimal with very few shelves because, you know, once you have more shelves, you're going to get more stuff. You're going to acquire more stuff. And I've always thought, well, if you don't have shelves, you're not going to acquire more stuff. You're going to fill the space you have. So I've tried to keep myself from buying shelves and storage things. But I think the time has come. The time has come to either get rid of some stuff. Probably time to get rid of stuff. Alright. Now we're going to do the jump rope. Purple. All right, we got the jump rope. We got the lotion bottles back there. Powder bottle. Now for the bow tie. Oh, he doesn't even have a bow tie up there. Guess that's a mistake. All right, what color is his bow tie? I don't remember. I think it was like orange. Like a red orange. A little more red. There we go. Very Halloween color. I think that was the intention, to convey fall, the feeling of fall. All right, let's give him some flesh in his ears. Now he's a really cool doll. All right, let's go with mouse ears. And actually, let's go with the light. All right, now we've got, I think this is her bookshelf, her comic bookshelf. Let's see. We're gonna go with like a medium gray, I guess. Alright. Got the books colored. Now it's time to get the table, side table. Actually, I don't think that was part of the side table. This is right here. I know that. Actually, I don't think that was. I think that's part of the shelf. Okay, here we go. That was a three-legged table. a tripod. Oh yeah, so this is the wall back here. This is the bookshelf. We got the comic books. We're looking better now. Let's get white going over here. And the shelf thing over here. So in this story, the Nina has like this shrine over here that she's built. And it's basically a shrine to the Crypt Keeper. She's going to be reading a comic that isn't even out, like a future comic. I think it's called The Haunted Hazing of Hazel, or something like that. Where it's about a haunted house. But the whole story, the idea of it was you have to have a character's name in the story of this comic. And it has to be a recognizable odd name. So I think I was like, Hazel is a very unusual name, and you're going to remember that name. So the character she's going to be reading about, her name is Hazel, and she's in a haunted house. All right, so we've got to do this little pictures. I'm just going to do yellow because we'll change that later. I think I'll try doing like a gold frame on these. There we go. This is the wrong color down here. I think we gotta make this bottle a different color because it's blending into that bookshelf. Let's make it like a pretty vibrant color. Let's make it pop, 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 pop. There we go. Let's make it a little bit lighter, like there's liquid in it right there. Okay, so I think we're gonna need to change the color as well. That's better. Once we put some shading on it, it should look more natural. But I think it's gonna actually look darker instead of lighter. All right, and I think we are done. We're done flat coloring. Let's actually let's do the sheets and the pillow a different color. That'll help kind of at least block out the different parts of this bed crib. There we go. Alright, we are done flat coloring. Let's make sure that's saved. Next step would be to duplicate the layer. Why don't we change this to colors? Just delete that, and now we'll copy it again. Alright, you can lock this layer, but I don't really need to. I don't think it's in danger of getting deleted. We'll just lock it. There we go. We'll also lock the ink layer, just to prevent any unforeseen accidents. Most accidents are unforeseen. Alright, so we need to make a multiply layer, and I usually make that yellow. And now we can go ahead and start shading. You know, I'm wondering if we should, what would be I think it would be interesting. A whole design aspect going on in my head right now. Do you make the hallway bright and then you make the room dark and create kind of a little bit of mystery in the room? Or do you have it bright and like, oh, she's entering this happy world that's being thrown in the spotlight? That's a good question. Let's try it both ways just to see. So let's turn off contiguous. Let's make this super bright, like here we go, da da da. And now we would say select inverse. We're gonna cut out all this. And all right, so now that we've done that, we're gonna put on like a multiply layer and just gonna have a little bit of fun. What if her nursery is dark when she's coming in? Check that out. Let's see. All right, and to shade, we would just kind of erase. Let's get a I might actually just do this because that would make the shading so much easier. That would be a huge time saver. Alright, so I'm going to have to come in and give her hair some highlights so you can tell there's light reflecting off her hair. But that looks pretty cool. I like how different it is. It's gonna stand out in your memory, I think. I think what you would need to do is darken this. I'm gonna do like a purplish blue. Like that, yeah. All right. Oh, yawn. Now I'm thinking, what if we tried kind of shading even darker back here? Let's try a new layer just to experiment. Whoops, wrong. What if we darkened it even more in the corner? Create a little bit more intrigue. And then Actually, let's do this the right way. Whoops. We need multiply. Long time ago. Long time ago. All right, that's what it looks like. Do I like it? It definitely puts the focus on Nina, and it helps give the eye some down space. I mean, I like it with the multiply layer on. Just that. Maybe if we could lighten it up just a little bit. I'm wondering if I need to change this to where it's bright on the doorway, on the door. All right. I think I like that. I think it adds some intrigue to the room. It kind of makes you look a little bit closer at what's going on. It's not just everything so simple. Everything's got a little bit of intrigue to it. So let's turn off this. And what I'm going to do is at least create some dimension with this chair, because this chair is an important part of the story. I want it to feel that way. I want your focus to be on the chair more than anything else, I think. The chair is a big set piece. All right, the other thing I was thinking about was the curtains. Let's try that again. No, we don't want to do the curtains at all. I'm thinking the backpack is kind of, these two things are kind of jumping out at me as being flat. So I think I'd like to shade these a little bit. But if that's all we had to do, then that saves a lot of time. Like an hour. Maybe not an hour. All right. Let's give it a highlight too. There we go. Now this green pumpkin bag back here, let's definitely give it some darkness. We want it to look like it's not that important. All right. Now we just need to finish that shelf. let's try this. I'm going to show you something I've picked up over the course of a few comics. I do copy, merged, and now I'm going to paste. And so we can pull this over here. We're still going to use this, or we're going to use most of it. We're going to cut out some of it. Let's get a hard edge. All right, so we'll cut out that. Let's try making this taller. We want to make it a little bit, slight variation of what we just saw up there, so it doesn't look like we just copied and pasted it. You have to do these sort of things occasionally. You don't want to do them too often, but occasionally you have to in order to, you know, make up for time. So you can't spend hours and hours on just a single panel. All right, here we go. All right, I'm going to paint bucket. Well, actually, the nice thing about this, I think, yeah, we can just back color. All right, I locked it, so I got to unlock it. Here we go. Second shelf filled. If only it was that easy in real life. Do you ever, you do too much photoshopping when you're like, I want to just copy and paste this object in real life. Or undo. Whenever I went back to like traditional art and I'm like painting and stuff, like in my mind, I'm like, Control Z, undo. Not so easy to fix your mistakes in traditional art. All right. So here we go. Finished thing. I'm even considering doing like a little bit of texture to this. Let's see what it looks like. So we've got our multiply layer here. We're going to take our eraser and just slightly run it over here, very lightly. And it'll at least kind of take away that airbrush sensation that is getting conveyed and give it the whole panel itself a little bit of texture. And I'm going to go in here. I'm going to kind of run my eraser over some edges. And this is when you know you've really committed to doing what you're about doing the style. Like at this point, I know I'm definitely going to use this darkness with light. And you can see where I kind of use my eraser to just slightly brighten up the chair. It's going to pop. And it's not so much of a pop that it's like super noticeable. It's not jumping, but it's popping. That's the distinguish I'm making here. You want it to pop, but not jump. It's not jumping off the page, but it is popping. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and consider that panel done, which is really cool. And I think I might even... Oh, shoot. Don't want to do that. All right, so I'm going to select the ground because I don't like how there's like a stiff line. That's not natural. You would see like a... We're even going to need to come in here and paint a little bit of this floor yellow. Here we go. So 77, it's okay. There we go. Now we have a gradient of light. We can see the light kind of intermingling with the carpet there. There we go. All right, and I think we're good now. We probably want a little bit of yellow on the edges here, because when it's white, it looks really dead. It's the color theory part of this. It doesn't match up. It's like CGI in a bad movie. All right, got some yellow going on there. All right, now we go on to panel number 2. All right, so we're on to the second panel. We'll go ahead and grab a skin shade. At this point, we'll imagine that she's turned on a light. So these panels will be as if the lights in the room are on. We're going to go a little bit more red and darker. So we're going to slide our hue color picker thing down here. We're going to go with just a soft-edged hard brush. A lot of times I go with the 80 brush to give it some texture and some life. But we're going to start off with this. And I think it needs to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to go with a little bit darker, a little bit more red. And, you know, it could even stand to be a little more red, a little more intense. Just to help keep, I don't know, from feeling too faded. Gives it a little bit more energy, in my opinion. All right, this is where you gotta decide where the light is coming from. I'm guessing the light would be coming from above, but if you're going to sort of make the scene, what her hand is doing, the focus of the panel, if you want that to kind of have a lot more focus, make it the light source as well. That's what I do with a lot of my panels, where it's like, this might not be the light source, but it's so important that, let's just say it's like radiating importance. like in Pulp Fiction, where there's the briefcase that just kind of glows. Like, it's an unnatural glow, and it doesn't make any sense, but it adds to the mystery and the just the overall impact that briefcase has on the viewing. That's my teaching moment there. All right, so I think there's too much darkness going on here. Let's see, what's too dark? What's too dark? Her arms don't feel like they're a part of her body, I guess. That's not a good problem to have. All right, so we're going to take our 80 brush and we're going to slightly shade that. I don't want it to be so hard. I found sometimes when it's like, you know, you don't want it to be bright, but you also don't want it to be so dark that it looks the way it did. Try to go with like a happy medium. Alright, so we're going to shade her leg just a little bit here. Because if only the back things are shaded, it's going to look like it's going to throw off the feeling you're trying to go for. Okay, okay. With her glasses being so white like that, I don't know why this little shot reminds me of Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. Let's go with, that's probably not a good thing. Let's give that some color so it doesn't jump. We just want it to, do we want it to pop? I don't think we want it to pop even. Alright, so we gotta get her tongue. For tongues, I always go with like a straight dab in the middle red. Half strength with light and dark, half strength hue, and that always works for me. Alright. Her skin is now colored. We can do this now. We'll do like a, kind of want it to be like a girl color. So we'll do a soft edge. And try to give some rounded shading here, so where it feels very sculpted. Alright, now we can use our 80, and I'm probably putting too much effort into this right here. It's probably not the greatest thing. Actually, I liked it better without that. Okay. It probably jumps a little bit. Let's put multiply on there. Yeah. Alright, I am going to pause coloring and go have some lunch, and then I'll come back and maybe we'll do this bottom panel. But there we have it. This is Tales from the Crypt Keeper 14, Nina's Nursery. We're coloring page 2, and this is coming out July 30th on pre-order. I don't know if I'm going to have all 8 pages done. I think I'm going to have 7 pages done, so I'll probably put out 6 pages and then do 2 more pages the following weekend. Have it kind of like an installment, just because 8 pages was too much for me to get done, and I'm very close but not quite there. So unfortunately, this is going to be like a 3-part comic. Nina's Nursery. Okay, I'll be back after lunch. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I will be back to live stream the second half in a minute.